if there's stuff on every surface, and we know that if we simplify and get rid of things and have clear surfaces, we won't be as stressed or depressed or anxious. But if there's stuff everywhere, where do we start? What do we do first? Where do we put our focus? What one area is going to bring us relief? Because we certainly can't do all of it right now, right? Hi, I'm Rachel Jones, author of Nourishing Minimalism. I'm a mom of 6, and I have not always had a beautiful, clean, clear, minimalist home at all. I struggled for years. The relief that I found when embracing minimalism pushes me to share that with others who are struggling with simply having too much stuff. Okay, so where do we start? Where do we put our focus when we want to embrace minimalism? We want to simplify our homes. Where do we put our focus? Simplifying your home is a 2-part task. First, we have to change our habits. And second, we have to get rid of a bunch of stuff. If all we do is change our habits, we'll spend all day working on these habits of maintaining our home. And if all we do is get rid of stuff, we'll still have a messy house and clutter everywhere because our habits aren't helping us manage our house. Okay, habits first. The first habit is just learning to pick up after ourselves. This is not something that I wanted to do. If I finished reading a book, I would set the book down on the surface next to me and I would say, I'm going to put it away later. Would I want to put it away later? No. So then it would sit there for a really long time until I finally set aside time to pick up after myself, and I worked through the different layers, and one of those layers happens to be the book. I like the idea of doing things for the future me. The future me, Rachel, 3 days from now, is going to be really happy if I just put that book away right now. It's a gift that I'm giving to my future self. I know we often think of ourselves as lazy because we don't put things away right away. But the truth is, those of us who don't put things away right away are working twice as hard as the people who do put things away right away. So picking up after ourselves is being very efficient with our time. Let's just do it now and give ourselves that gift so the future self doesn't have to do it later. The next habit to change is having daily resets in place. I have a morning reset and an evening reset. This just means that I do the dishes and I tidy up the kitchen. Really, I just focus on the kitchen because if the kitchen's in order, then the rest of the house feels manageable. It takes me less than 10 minutes. I do a quick tidy up, wash the dishes, wipe off the counters and stove, and then I'm done and I can get on with my day and it's never sitting in the back of my mind. It's done. It doesn't have to be done. I don't have to think about it. It's already taken care of. Having those resets in place means that everything flows smoothly. It's as if we're streamlining our lives because we're no longer setting aside time to do those things. It's getting done on autopilot and we don't spend a lot of time thinking about it or talking ourselves out of doing it. It's done. It's already done. Okay, the third habit is shopping. We have to limit what comes into the house, or we're just going to have to keep decluttering year after year after year. For some of us, that means we have to set boundaries in our hobbies. Are we going to allow ourselves to buy more hobby supplies, or are we going to make sure that we finish a project and complete it before we go and buy more hobby supplies? If you're a quilter, that might mean telling yourself you're not going to buy any more fabric or patterns until you've completed this quilt. And once you've completed it, then you can go get enough supplies for the next quilt. I know that sounds kind of harsh because it's a lot of fun to buy all those supplies. But this is just another tool to use to simplify our lives. If we have 93 projects waiting for us to complete them, and we go add more to that, there's more pressure on us mentally of, well, I have so much that I need to do. And then instead of taking time to enjoy our handiwork and that process, we switch from having just the quilting as the hobby to shopping and collecting these supplies as the hobby. And although shopping and collecting can give us that instant reward of this feels good and I'm really excited about it, in the end it becomes more of a burden because now we have more and more projects sitting there waiting to get worked on. For others, this might mean giving up garage sailing or window shopping or bargain shopping. Don't get me wrong, I understand that these things are all a lot of fun. But if we're overwhelmed with the amount of stuff in our house, then we have to stop bringing more things in. Or it's just going to continue being overwhelming. The point of embracing minimalism and simplifying our homes is to really simplify our homes and our lives. We don't want to be in this constant state of decluttering. We want to eventually get to a point where we're maintaining and we have time for all these other things that don't involve taking care of our stuff. For me, it's helped to just find other activities. So I don't go shopping, I don't go window shopping, and I avoid scrolling through Instagram and scrolling through Pinterest, and I don't subscribe to any magazines. Even home improvement shows will drive that discontentment in me. So I'm much more content with my home if I limit those type of things. When I was figuring out what's the real reason that I want to simplify, that I want to embrace minimalism, it's because I want to be able to devote time to relationships. And if that's my goal, then I really need to devote that time to relationships and cut out those things that are influencing me in a way that I don't want to be influenced. Okay, so that was the habits. Now, what about the actual decluttering part? Where do we start with that? I recommend starting in the kitchen because we use the kitchen all the time, especially if you have kids at home. You know you're in there all the time. This is where we cook. This is where we clean. This is where we do homework. This is the heart of the home. And when we can streamline this area of our home, then it saves us so much time and energy, and we can go and branch out and take care of the other areas of our home. Besides that, most of the items in our kitchen are utilitarian. There's not as many sentimental items in the kitchen, which means it's easier to make the decisions. We already know exactly what we use every day, what we use to make scrambled eggs, what we use to make rice, what we use to make our favorite stir fry. All of those things, we know exactly what we use. So then we can focus on keeping the things that we use and letting go of those things that we don't use. And as you're working, if you come to sentimental items, just set them aside and deal with them later. Let's declutter all the main areas of your house, make your house functional, and then get into those things that are more emotional. I know when we think about decluttering, most of us think about the biggest, baddest problem that we have in our house, which tends to be sentimental items. The stuff in the attic, the stuff in the basement, the things in the garage, the boxes of photos. And what about our high school yearbooks? It's okay. Let's streamline the house. Let's take care of all the easy decisions. And then by that point, you'll have a really good understanding, a good idea of the things that you want to carry with you as you move forward into the future. There's so many questions that we can ask as we work on our house and declutter, but the ones that I tend to focus on the most are, do I love it? Do I use it? Does it help me live the life that I want to live? Does it serve me in living that life? Does it assist me in living that life? And if it's not assisting us in some way, then it's really holding us back. It's causing more work for us. Because everything we have in our home takes some kind of care. It requires some sort of energy in caring for it. And if we have to do any moving, cleaning, rearranging of these different things, then they're taking time from us. And I'm not saying we should discard everything, especially not for the sake of minimalism. You're the only one that gets to decide what stays in your home, what really benefits you, what you want to surround yourself with. I am saying that we should not keep things out of guilt, shame, or fear. And if we have things that we've been holding on to because of those reasons, when we let them go, there is a real sense of relief. This weight lifted off our shoulders because all those negative emotions leave when that item leaves. This week, February 22nd through 26th, I have opened registration for my Unfuss Your Home Bootcamp. If you're looking for some serious motivation to tackle your home, simplify all the main areas, and you are willing to work for an intense 30 days to get this done, then this bootcamp might just be for you. This is my most popular course, but also the most transformational. If you want to join the Unfuss Your Home Bootcamp, you will need to set aside 1 to 3 hours a day of work for the next 30 days. And at the end of 30 days, all the materials disappear. This is my only course like that because I know it's not for everybody, but if that sounds like something that you would enjoy participating in, you can head over to my website, nourishingminimalism.com. Doors close Friday, February 26th, and we start Monday, March 1st. That's it for me today. I'll see you later.